Welcome, everybody, to our ARC webcast. I'm David Humphrey, Research Director at ARC Europe, and I'm in our virtual studio today with Christopher Kolb of Audi and Bernd Kammholz of Broadcom, and we're here to talk about the Edge Cloud for Production, the pioneering initiative at Audi that has brought Edge Cloud architectures and virtualization to the shop floor. Bernd, you're joining us today because we want to talk specifically about Broadcom's contribution to the EC4P project. So thanks to both of you for joining. Christopher, let's start with you. You're the Audi man. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at Audi, please.
Hello out there. Nice to be here. My name is Christopher Kolb, and I work at Audi in the EC4P project. I also had the honor to be part of EC4P since the first hour. Today, my role is called the domain architect, where I try to keep an eye on the whole solution and architecture of EC4P and work on integrating it into the Audi IT and OT world.
Thanks, Christopher. Tell us about EC4P, please. Audi first presented the concept at our industry forum in Orlando. That was 6 years ago. And I understand that you've made a lot of progress in the meantime.
Yeah. What started with an idea, today we are over 40 people working on different specialties and pushing development, rollout, and operations of the product EC4P. We built a platform that today is able to host all forms of workloads that we see in the shop floor, from persistent virtual machines through session-based pooled virtual desktops, right through the real-time application that all the media is talking about today. For realizing the real-time use case, we needed the help of strong partners that were able to put together the full solution of the Edge Cloud for Production products we have today on all layers. So the application, which comes from Siemens, the platform where we're here today with VMware by Broadcom, but also the network part, which you already are broadcasting with Cisco. This is what we put together to get the full solution that we have today.
Bernd, from Broadcom, can you also introduce yourself? Just say a few words about yourself and what you do at Broadcom.
Yes. Hello, David. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm Bernd, and I'm with Broadcom since 2020 around, and I'm acting as an account chief technologist for the Volkswagen Group.
Bernd, people always ask me if virtualization is the way of the future in industry. And my response is they're asking the wrong question. Virtualization, just for the sake of virtualization, offers really no advantages. You first needed to put into place the right architecture to support the virtualization, and then use the virtualized environment to do a much better job of managing software assets than you did in the past. So can you tell us about in conceptual terms, about the architecture? What does it look like?
So first, let's talk briefly about the advantages of virtualization in general. I think there are huge advantages with virtualization. The biggest to me is to bring several workloads strictly separated on one physical server, and it's decoupling the hardware and the software. The gains of level of flexibility that traditional setups just cannot reach. This brings drastic cost savings, much better utilization of resources, hardware reductions, lower overhead, etc. But also for disaster recovery and business continuity, for snapshotting, hardware independency, etc. So there are big advantages, and I think also in the context of EC4P, when it comes to real time, there are big advantages because we can provide extremely fast virtualization, which is capable to host the workloads like EC4P on the shop floor level. But now your question is coming to the right architecture. I mean, looking maybe at this picture here, which will be shown up here, there are different levels, and the different levels are for a reason here. There's the management level. There's, of course, the virtualization level. Different features which comes together and building a perfect architecture, not only for EC4P, but also for other workloads. I come to that a little bit later. It's more generic thing. But all these things are coming together as standard blueprints, which will be provided by us. And these standard building blocks provide a high availability solution for the industry requirements. Also, we got the safety certification for EC4P with that. The requirements are fulfilled. And also, when it comes to versioning, all the versions are kept in the right way. The entire stack is covered at once.
Can you tell us specifically about Broadcom's work with Audi? When did you start in the project, and what exactly is your role in the EC4P project?
Yeah, we started very early with Audi, and we sat together and said, how can we optimize that? And so the contribution to the EC4P project, it's also about adjustment of the product. It's also about the high development effort to adapt the VMware products to the industry protocols and standards in the OT world. It is a perfect example of the converging of IT and OT. And it's also a chance for the industry to bring IT expertise to the industry with product adjustments, developments, and feature requests. It's a special collaboration with Audi, but also with other industry leaders like Siemens, VPLC applications, or Cisco IT/OT networks. It's a very special collaboration, and we are very happy to do this and can provide our expertise into this complete game here.
Christopher, let's focus a little bit on the PLC. The PLC is traditionally a piece of hardware. It's mounted close to the machine where it can be easily accessed by the automation engineers and the maintenance guy. So if the PLC is suddenly located elsewhere, for example, 8 kilometers down the road, how does the workflow change when you're commissioning a machine or when you're servicing a machine?
Our philosophy is to make things easier while changing as less as possible for our internal customers, being it the worker colleagues, the operations and maintenance, or all other shop floor responsibles. So we put a lot of effort into integrating our solution into the existing landscape and of technologies and processes and also organizational matters. And still, it's always crucial to intensely train and onboard all stakeholders to enable them for the use of our platform.
On the shop floor, it can be difficult to teach old dogs new tricks, as we like to say. How did you get the buy-in of shop floor staff to support and accept the concepts of EC4P?
Yeah, of course, we had to explain what strange new solution we were bringing to the production here and why there suddenly was no hardware box to touch anymore. But once demonstrated, the benefits of our solution seem to have convinced the colleagues that we have a good idea here, and this is something that we all can profit from. Simple as that.
Bernd, the new virtualized architecture, how does this change the way I install a new PLC or new shop floor software? Normally, I just open the cabinet, I push the PLC in, and it's finished. But what happens if the installation is taking place in some data center? Do I need an IT guy to help me?
Not really. So first of all, the shop floor stuff does not have any differences. So they work like before. There is absolutely no difference. The magic is in the background. Most of the tasks are completely automated. So the IT stuff is just pressing a button and it's rolled out and provisioned automatically. And of course, there are a lot of things to do in the background, but because there are different layers on top layers, which comes with a complete solution. But in general, it's much easier because it's just, as I said, pressing a button, and then it's completely automated.
All right, we haven't yet figured out how to virtualize devices like I/O or drives, the sensors and the actuators. We probably shouldn't virtualize them, actually. So how do I go about troubleshooting these devices when they're connected to a VPLC?
Yeah, troubleshooting is to be prevented as much as possible. And this is due to the fact that there is no single point of failure. Every part is independently redundant. The tooling is highly integrated. So for example, Profinet information will be displayed in the overall monitoring platform. So end-to-end troubleshooting is easily possible. And I mean, I mentioned that before, there will be an extra layer, but no change for the workers on the shop floor. So the most errors are resolved automatically by the software. So high availability, automation, life cycles, etc. All this comes into place. And also the day-by-day task will be much easier due to automation. So for example, we have automation for life cycles. We have automation for start again. So in Germany, it's Wiederanstart, which was not possible before. There's also rollback scenarios available, and so if you look, for example, for the thin clients, then you make a shadow copy of and provision the shadow copy, update this. You just have to reconnect, and then the thin client connects with a new version, which is much more handy and much more easy than before.
Christopher, can you tell us what was it like working with the Broadcom engineers? Did you work together as a team like you did with the other vendors?
Yeah, we had the chance to travel to the headquarters of Broadcom and meet the engineers in person, even stand on a whiteboard with the architects in charge for the solutions, discuss our requirements and possible solutions. And in parallel, the professional services team did and still does a very professional job in helping us implement the solution provided by their American business unit pendants. The collaboration climaxed in the hot phase, let's call it, during testing in the Cisco labs in Raleigh, where all three vendors came together to set up a close to real life implementation of the whole solution and test and optimize the products and the integrations. It was always very awesome working together with Broadcom. We learned very much. I think also the other partners learned quite much. It felt like acting as one team, and I think the result that we have today speaks for itself.
Yeah, I'm envious of you guys getting to work in an environment like that. It sounds like it was a really successful, a really pleasant working environment. Christopher, can you tell us how do we go from here? Is EC4P finished, or are there next steps? Can you tell us what to expect?
The next steps are a scale out in the Audi and soon also Volkswagen factories. So we have to make a broad usage of the product that we have, not only at Audi and Volkswagen, but also we have to enable the industry to climb on board, join the movement, and also implement modern IT platforms in their production and shop floor environments. Because only if our solution finds acceptance and usage in a broad spectrum of industrial environments, the products we use will be maintained and developed in the long term.
Bernd, from your perspective, what are the next steps? What can we expect to see?
So the ultimate goal is one generic platform for virtual machines, containers, AI workloads, and much more. We're not there at the moment. We're good in good positions, and we will. There's some steps to go into that area. I mean, also in the complete solution, improvements in the lifecycle management can be accomplished. Much more and deeper integration of the complete stack, for example, for containers. And also, I mean, this is, everybody talks about AI workloads. This is the platform for AI workloads. So it's not only about non-real-time workloads, it's also about real-time workloads, about containers and AI platform. And there's much more in the future.
Bernd, as I mentioned at the beginning, I see this as pioneering work. There's basically been no large-scale attempt not to virtualize, but to create the environment for virtualization, to create the best practices of how to do this, to run extensive testing, in production testing, and things like that. I can imagine this spreading to other industries, pharmaceutical, food and beverage. You take care of other industries as well, Bernd. How do you see the future of these concepts spreading to other branches?
We're just talking here about the Volkswagen Group, but there are other automotives also out there, and there's a big interest from them in Europe and Asia. So this is one thing. And the other thing is other industries like pharmaceutical or other industries. This brings OT and IT together. And the IT concepts are more or less 10 to 20 years ahead of the old OT concepts. And this will give OT a big push forward. But there's also a lot to do. But I think the first companies are waking up and see the big chance here and try to adapt this very fast.
All right. Thanks for that that final thought, Bernd. This has been the third and final vendor-focused ARC webcast on the Audi EC4P initiative. In other webcasts, we already spoke with Cisco and Siemens and talked about their work on the project. So those webcasts are also available. Audi, I'm happy to say, will be speaking at the ARC European Industry Forum that takes place in a couple of months in Barcelona. It's the first week of May. You can check out our website for more information about that. Siemens will be there. Cisco, I think, will be there. And I'm hoping Broadcom will come and join us as well. And I want to thank you, Christopher and Bernd, for your time today. Thanks very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And a special thanks to our audience for tuning in. See you soon.